I'm recording. I didn't want to share right at the beginning, and we shared, and I couldn't get off share. So hopefully you can hear me. Good morning. It is Tuesday. I feel like it's almost like town hall, but it's not. We're gonna go through, do a quick, um, as quick as I can, but thorough introduction of GreenLink, which I know has been a long time coming. Um, I will say right off the bat, if you see our accounting team curled up underneath their desks in the coming weeks, you'll know why. They have spent countless hours getting us on the system, over to the system, and it has been just a monumental effort. And I want to just thank them and give them some kudos for hanging in there with this. So, without further ado, now I'm going to share. Hopefully, I can get this back up. Um, this is a screen I want to share. Scott, can you see that?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay. I'm going to show you a quick, I've got to get all these screens just go all over the place all the time and drive me crazy. You have to excuse me for 1 second while I get screens figured out here. It's hard to do this on one screen. Okay. I wanted to see what you're seeing. All right. So the reason that this has been such a monumental effort, just to give you a little bit of history and why, is we were basically on a platform. I'm sure some of you remember this little contraption. It's a Motorola pager. We also had back in the 90s this was the first iteration of a mobile phone. It was a briefcase. I remember having one in Susan's maroon Dodge Caravan that she'd haul around. This is basically, I'm showing you these examples because this is when our old accounting system, like that, this was the generation of our old accounting system, and our new accounting system and transaction platform, which is GreenLink, is like this. It's an iPhone. So we have leapfrogged lots of technology and gone from basically a Motorola pager to a brand new next generation iPhone with our accounting system. And thus you'll understand why the accounting department might be curled up in a ball, because they were very used to and had been working for years in this old system and knew how it worked. It was rich with data. And this new system has a lot of bells and whistles that they're just not used to. So it's been a lot getting the system up and going. I am so excited that our agents, you all, are getting access today. You should have received an email this morning that is your welcome email. It'll have a link. That email will also include your password to get in. If you forget your password, you can certainly reset your password. There's also now a link on Okta for GreenLink as well. So if you go to your Okta platform and search GreenLink, it'll come right up in a couple of slides. I'll show you a picture of what that tile looks like. But I want to kind of give you first, before we really dive into the how, a couple of resources. These will, oh, that was loud. All of a sudden I heard my voice out at 8,300. The volume was all the way up. These are some resources that will be emailed out when I send this recording out. It was also in the top 3 last week. You had a link to this quick start guide. Everything that I go over today is going to be covered in the quick start guide. So if you get lost when you get in there, it's pretty intuitive, but if you get lost, know that this quick start guide walks you through step by step how to do some of the things that we're going to do today. So if I go fast, know that you'll have resources. You'll have this recording. I'm going to share these slides, and you'll also have this scribe. So lots of resources to get you up and going in GreenLink. This is what the Okta tab looks like in the upper right here on your screen. Hold on just a second. My screens are doing funky things. So this is what the Okta tab looks like. I want to share with you first kind of a big picture of probably the most useful things that you're going to find in GreenLink. What is it? First and foremost, as I've described, it is our new backend accounting system. It is also the way that you're going to get paid. It is the link between the transaction contract, those details, and it comes over into GreenLink. And our admins are not only entering information, but then our accounting team takes it, figures commissions in there. That's where our disbursements for title companies are happening, as well as your agent reports, everything that has to do with the transaction details accounting. And then we've got the second thing is agents and billing. So you will no longer receive email PDFs of your agent billing. We're going to dive into that in just a little bit. And then, as I just mentioned, we've got real-time reports for you. So unlike our old reports, that was kind of a system that had to be, I'm going to call it some really strong duct tape that was holding that system together, as we had iterations of different platforms. And I felt like it was, Scott, no offense, because it wasn't your system, but it was oftentimes broken more than it was working. And it was just really clunky to get into. So I think you're going to be impressed with the real-time reports that you get in here. You're going to be able to see where you're at for the year, where you were at last year, how you're pacing for this year, your 1099, your transaction details. You're going to see a lot of information in here. And it'll become really a hub and a resource for you that I think that you're going to find yourself in quite often. And then the fourth section of this is your listing management seller reports, kind of one of those bells and whistles. We're not going to spend a ton of time on that today. And then the last feature that I'm going to highlight is we've got a buyer needs database that's built into here. So I know in all of your sales meetings in your individual offices, you get up, you talk about buyer needs, you've got a buyer, here's what they need. If you've got something upcoming or hear about something, let me know. Well, there's actually a place in here now for you to input your buyer needs so the entire company can see them and they can live in there. And so as you're getting a listing that's coming on, you might go check out the buyer needs and see what's happening. So I'm going to walk you through that as well. Let's first talk about the transaction and accounting. I want to highlight kind of the process and what's happening here so you'll understand the workflow that's happening and understand the importance and the why behind some of the things that we're going to ask you to do in Loop. Loop will still be and will continue to be our platform that is all things contract and transactional related with client signing. It'll still be our hub for all of our documents, listing documents, exclusives. That will all still live. Nothing is changing with Loop. So what will change is a couple of things that get carried over from Loop into GreenLink. And here's kind of a walkthrough of how that happens. So the first thing that happens, and this is specific, this number one is specific to listings. GreenLink does sync with MLS. So when you put in a listing on MLS, when it goes active, not coming soon, but when it goes active right now, it will then feed over and the MLS details and the listing details will be in GreenLink. So when I get in and show you your platform in just a second, you'll be able to see your live listings, your active listings. You'll also be able to see pendings and solds. But it will populate automatically from MLS and carry that data over. When a transaction, whether it's a listing or a buy-side transaction, goes under contract and you submit for review in Loop, our admins have a fabulous little button when they go into GreenLink to import the transaction data so we can get you paid. That is a one-time, one-way sync. So it's going to pull all the details over from Loop. And here's where it pulls it from: view details. So you've probably wondered why we've been kind of harping on getting all of the transaction details from you into view details. This is why. So the information that we need in GreenLink is not necessarily all the information that's only on your contract. We need title companies, both of them, both sides of the transaction. We need title companies input into view details. We need the lender and lender's information, any referral information. And then of course, you've got to put your referral documents inside of your loop. All of that is being carried over into GreenLink. So if our admin goes in and they're processing your file and they hit the sync, which is a one-time only and a one-way sync, and that information isn't in view details, it halts the process and slows everything down. The train has to kind of come to a stop until those details are input. And the baton is then passed to accounting to figure commissions and send our CDAs, which is our commission disbursement authorization forms that are generated right out of GreenLink. Those get sent to the title companies. We can't send them if we don't have the title company information, and we can't even generate them. That's the first step of three. The second step is your agent payout. The commission that you're going to earn on the transactions, all of that is figured in GreenLink. You will start receiving emails during our kind of crossover period here, we've been downloading those as PDFs and I think putting them up in the loop or emailing them to you. From now on, you're going to get an email saying that your disbursement, commission disbursement is ready, or excuse me, your agent breakdown, which is your calc sheet is ready for you to view. We have the option in here. We are not going to do it right now, but we have the option in here to do an approval process with that and have you go in, look at it, hit, yep, approved, I'm good to go, or send back any revisions that need to be made on the agent breakdown. This is to ensure that you get paid correctly the first time. Oftentimes right now, I was an agent, did the same thing. Calc sheets were sent to me and sometimes I'd look at it, sometimes I wouldn't. And then all of a sudden I get a check or direct deposit and it's wrong. And then we've got to go back and do all sorts of rigmarole to get it corrected for you. This system that allows us to send your agent disbursements right out of the system and have you approve it ensures that you're paid quick and you're paid correctly. Everybody makes mistakes, so we want you to look at those and want you to have the ability to view them. But as I mentioned, right now we're not going to make them required to approve them. That might come down the road once everybody gets used to seeing those and gets in the system. What happens after that? Any revisions that you do to the transaction are still submitted through .loop, and you need to remember to submit for review, please. Once you submit for review, the admins then, if it is a revision that changes the close date, changes any details to how the title companies are going to disperse to compensation from seller or buyer, or maybe it's a credit from seller to buyer, we've got to generate a new disbursement letter to the title companies. All of that has to be carried over into GreenLink. And it all starts with you submitting for review inside of .loop. And the admins will take it from there and get the correct information over into GreenLink. We'll submit new disbursement authorizations to title companies and also recalculate if any revision affects your agent compensation. So it's important. Time is of the essence there in submitting for review in .loop and getting that information to the admin so it can carry through to GreenLink. The fifth thing that happens in here, which is the most important, is the transaction closes. We get a check in, and the first thing we do with that check is we review that the check amount matches the amount that we had asked the title company to disperse to us. But the second thing we do is we check GreenLink for the correct seller names, the correct buyer names, correct address. We make sure all those details are correct. If they are not, we can't even deposit the check. We can't accept the check, which means you have a lag in getting paid. So we want to make sure, I'm going to back up again to number 4 here. We want to make sure that we're getting any revisions through the system as quick as possible. So when that check comes in, accounting's doing a quick check in GreenLink, everything matches and they're able to process payment and get it out to you ASAP. But all of that now is happening over in GreenLink as opposed to some of the back and forth that was happening in .loop. So that's kind of how the transaction accounting piece of this works. I want to show you really quick, and we're going to go live into the platform in just a second. And this is tiny on the screen, and I get that. I want to show, and when I go in live, you're going to see all of the details that are on essentially the front page, the view details. Think of it as view details in GreenLink, but all of that transaction data that's coming over from .loop and dumping into GreenLink. I'll show you. You won't have access to that. The admins do because they're inputting that information, but I want to at least show you what it looks like. This is some of that information that's up on the screen now. And then there's a second screen here because it's a long screen with lots of information, but you can see that we need all of this information. So I cannot stress it enough. It is critical that you're putting it into view details and .loop for us. That is the holy grail of all the information that we need to ensure the entire process I just walked you through is then smooth on the accounting side, and you get paid out very timely and without issue. The second big piece of this is the agent billing and payments system. So, and thank you to Joseph for allowing me to log in as an agent under him and do some of these screenshots. That's where we're going to go next. I'm going to log in live to show you this stuff live. But one of the first things that you're going to want to do when you get in is go under Edit Profile and input any of your payment settings. And when I get in the system, I'll walk through that live with you a little bit in a little bit more detail. Note that the payment settings in here are not your commission disbursements. It's not your payout, your direct deposit. The payment details that you're putting in here are any billing that you have that needs to come to us, not from us, but to us. So payments that you're making to us, whether you're on, maybe you're on the 95 plan and you've got your monthly fee, maybe you're on the traditional plan and you've got a monthly fee there, or, there's things that show up on your agent billing, reimbursements, things that the company has paid for, that you're responsible for. Any of that billing is all going to be handled through this system. So instead of getting static PDFs, you're going to get emails that tell you when an invoice has been generated and when it's due, and you can click through and pay it right through the platform. You can also set up auto payment, and I'll go through those details in just a second. I just got a notification that my internet connection is unstable, so hopefully you can hear me and I'm not cutting out. We'll go through that on the live site here in just a minute on the payment details, but it's going to be an important piece of this platform. Is it's all going to run through here. This is a piece, I just did a screenshot of a document here on some of the changes that you'll see with agent billing. And you'll have a link to this as well as a PDF to this, so you can go through it and really understand the agent billing and payment procedure with GreenLink. So just wanted to kind of call this out and get you familiar with it. There are going to be a few changes to how we do billing. In the past, we always did our 95ers, any fees they had were on the first of the month. That will still happen. It'll actually probably be the second of the month. And any agents that are on traditional plan have recurring, what we call subscription services. So any recurring monthly bills outside of 95, those will still be done on the 20th of the month. So the other charges, we call them the marketing and services, and I'll show you what those look like in just a second. Actually, I'm just going to click through this now. First one is subscription invoices. Those are your recurring monthly charges. So if you're on traditional plan, it's like your $115 a month. Any 95ers, if you've got assistant fees, your monthly E&O charges, if you're on a plan that charges those monthly, those are going to show up on your subscription invoices. So those are still due on payments on the first, again, for 95ers, and the 20th for anybody that's not on the 95 plan that still has recurring monthly charges. So two different types of invoices. Subscription invoice are any recurring, usually associated with your compensation plan. And then the second type of invoice is your marketing and services invoice. This is where probably the biggest change is going to happen. In the past, we'd send you the invoice on the 1st and it was due on the 20th. We are now going to input these invoices as we receive them, and it'll be a rolling net 30 days for the invoices to be paid. If you set up the automatic, if you go in and put your payment details in and enable automatic payment will happen on that 30th day on the invoice due date. So if you order business cards, let's say you have got signs, any office supplies that you order through us, your annual antivirus charge will be put through the marketing and services invoice. And then any other one-time charges, if you have them, kind of the one-offs. So again, two different types of invoices. So you're going to be receiving emails for both invoices, as opposed to in the past, we've really just sent one invoice on the 1st of the month that included all of the subscription charges as well as your one-time marketing and services. So those will now be split into two different invoices. And again, you'll be emailed in real time as you have any of these miscellaneous charges. So I think I'm really excited about this side of the platform. It's going to be much easier for us to track and really much easier for you to track. And you'll be able to go in and see what invoices you have outstanding and see what needs to be paid. And I'll show you that in just a second. Real-time reports. I'm not even going to talk about this. I want to show it to you. And then when we get in, I'll show you the listing management. Really, really cool feature there with seller reports. It's kind of one of the bells and whistles. And then the 5th piece of this is the buyer needs database, and I'm going to show you when we flip over here to the live site. So let me reshare my screen and get over here to the dashboard. Let's go ahead and take a look. Hopefully this flips and I don't have issues with my screen. All right, Scott, are you seeing that, the agent dashboard?
Yes, I see it.
I am not. I have to get it pulled onto my screen so I can see what I'm doing here. Okay, there it is. So again, I'm logged in as Joseph. So thank you to Joseph for allowing me to log in. When you log in, a lot of white space here. This will start filling up with some information. Some of these modules that are on the dashboard will never fill up for you because they're pieces of this program that we do not have turned on yet. There is the ability, and I'm going to mention this, but I want you to know we're not doing this. Some organizations have the ability to input their listings as opposed to putting them in MLS. They're putting them in their iteration of GreenLink, which is done by, it's an overlay to Brokerage Engine. So if you see it, hear us saying BE or Brokerage Engine, that is the platform. We've renamed it GreenLink for you all. So there are some companies that allow their agents to put listings right into GreenLink. We are still going to go the old method and put it in through MLS and let MLS feed it into GreenLink. There was a question from Tiffany. I will get to, when we get into agent billing, I will answer that question on billing. Buyer needs. This is that section I was talking about. We'll come back to this and I'll show you how you're going to use it. I think it's a fabulous way to get the information out versus just in your sales meetings. Down below, upcoming events, this is going to sync with our training calendar. So any sessions, any upcoming sessions will all be on here. If you click on these, it will give you more details with links. You copy it to your Google Calendar. A great way for you to see what's going on in the offices. And then any tasks, if you've been assigned tasks, that will show up over here in this section. More than likely, you won't have a lot of tasks, but if you did, once we turn on like the agent commission breakdowns, if we ever turn on approval for that, you would see all of those start populating right here. If you've not approved it, need to approve it, would be right there. So I'm going to move out of the dashboard pretty quickly here because there's not really a whole lot to look at here. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to go up in the upper right corner and there's a little caret next to your name. We're going to hit edit profile. So when you go into your profile, you will see you can actually edit your details right here. I clicked right underneath your beautiful headshot. You can edit your phone number, your website. You can even edit your profile remarks. This doesn't just live in GreenLink. This is actually our gateway up to Dash. Dash is with the brand with BHGRE. So if you update your profile and your remarks here, it's going to go into Dash and then it's going to feed out to everywhere that your profile appears that is fed through Dash. So like your agent landing page on our website. I believe this will feed right into Moxie too. If you update here, it will feed out to everywhere that the Dash is feeding out. So you can also put your social information, social links in here. Again, that will feed up into Dash and will override any current information in Dash. If you want to change your password, of course, you can do that. Over here, you can update your communications. Right now, we have turned off the buyer needs email notifications. So even if you select yes, you're not going to receive them. We didn't want to overwhelm everybody with emails. You are going to start getting emails from the system, and it's not something we could test until we flip the switch this morning. So my apologies in advance if you start getting a lot of emails. Let us know right away. Some of the stuff that we've turned on, we're not 100% sure how many emails it's going to generate to you. We don't think it's supposed to generate very many, but in the event it does, let us know so we can make corrections right away. Most important thing, edit profile, is right down here in your payment settings. You'll be able to add a credit card, or you can add ACH for direct deposit. You can also, once you add your payment method, you can set your default payment and you can enable your auto billing. or you can disable if you've enabled it. You should have the ability down here to disable it. When we were testing this the other day, it wasn't allowing us to disable, but I think it was because we had not flipped the switch yet. So that's something we'll be testing today, and we'll send out more information. Tiffany asked a question, and I'll address this now with billing on if you don't want to be charged the fees. That's the one downside to this system is there is a charge. It's 3% charge on credit card fees and a $3 per transaction on your ACH. So it's not a percentage of the amount on ACH, it's just a $3 flat fee. The credit card is a 3% service fee plus I think it's 25 cents per transaction. So if you want to avoid that, yes, we will still accept checks, which is why we're doing that kind of rolling 30 days with your marketing and services invoices. We don't want, some people have invoices that are like $5. And if they've got automatic payment set up with ACH because they're on, let's say, our 95 plan, or they're on some comp plan where they've got the automatic ACH set up, we want to give you 30 days to get that check to us so you're not charged the fees. And this will all be outlined in that document that I showed you the screenshot of. You'll have all this information. As soon as this recording processes and we're able to send out the email, you'll have that PDF that'll have all these details included. If you do want to write us a check, though, you need to make sure that that check is received in our accounting department at least 5 business days before the invoice due date. That gives them time to process your check. They've got to go into the system and apply the payment to the invoice. So it doesn't auto bill. So we need some lead time on that. We can't do it same day. We can't do it the day before. We need some lead time on that because there's a lot of manual stuff that has to happen on the back end. We are allowing that to happen, but you just have to know that we've got to have that check in our accounting department in their hands 5 days prior to the invoice due date. So again, it'll all be outlined in this guidelines kind of new billing procedures document that you'll get later today. Okay, I'm going to menu away from profile. Let's go in and look at reports because I think that is probably one of the best features of this are your reports. So in reports, if you just hover over reports up here at the top, you'll have these drop downs. You've got access to all sorts of fun stuff. Agent roster with pictures, which I love. So if you're looking for an agent, need to reach out to somebody, right here is company roster with photos, with headshots, which is awesome. You also have a birthday list up here. But let's look at your individual production reports. So I am going to go to my favorite report, which is the Broker 360 report. And in the Broker 360 report, you're going to see what your activity has been for year to date. That's what it defaults to, is it's going to show you your current year. If you want to, let's say you want to look at last year, you can pull the drop down right up here and you can change it to month, quarter. You can do custom. If I want to do last year, it auto generated. On some reports, you've got to hit the little box up here that says generate when you make changes to the date or to the auto timeframes. If you want to download this, there is a caret right next to the run report that says export PDF, and you can have a printable version of this. Down here, it's going to tell you, again, we're looking at last year. It's going to tell you your volume, gross commission income, your net commission income, and your breakdown here. Obviously, since it's last year, everything is closed. You'll see if I go to current year, Joseph's got one active listing. So it's going to show that he's got an active listing. If you've got multiple transactions, that pie chart's going to look a lot different for you. This up here is a little confusing, and it confuses me every time I come in. This section right here is only ever going to show one transaction. It's going to show you your highest listed. Why it's there, it drives me crazy. If you want to see all your transactions for the year, for the time frame you have up here, you come right down here. It's a little section called transactions, and you hit show transactions, and it's going to pull up what transactions you have for this year. The stuff down here you can ignore. We don't have the marketing module turned on. So you're not going to see review rounds for marketing stuff. You're not going to see your marketing savings or marketing tasks down here. What you will see is invoices. So if you can see how much you've paid, you can see how much is due. So it'll give you a snapshot on invoices. Let's look at, I'm going to pull up that's your Broker 360 report. This is agent production report. So your agent production report, again, you've got to come up here. It's only going to show you closed. So we're going to go to last year and hit that generate button, and it'll start populating for you. So you can do a year-over-year comparison here, fee summary. You can adjust what columns you want to see. And again, if you click this caret, you can export to PDF. So this is going to be a great, yes, you'll have access to your 1099 in here, but if you need to pull a quick report to send to your accountant, I know many of you that sell houses in Kansas City, Missouri and have to pay Kansas City, Missouri e-tax, want a quick report to send to your accountant. So it's going to be hard to do on here, obviously, because I don't have any Kansas City, Missouri, but you can come in here for the last year. Down here, you can actually download to an Excel. So you might want to sort this, download as an Excel, and then you can go into the Excel, delete everything that's not Kansas City, Missouri, send it right to your accountant. So quick and easy way to do that. What else is in here under reports? Open house is going to show you any upcoming open houses. We are working with Brokerage Engine, GreenLink, to do a module on your dashboard similar to buyer needs where we can have open house needs. So stay tuned for that. They're trying to get that programmed for us, but that was a request that we had from them last week. So we are trying to do that. But if you want to go in and look at any open houses that are happening, this is not the one that we have an open house today. This is a public open house. It's not going to show broker open houses, your Tuesday tours, but it will show public open houses. So when I looked at it last week, there was a whole list of them because we had a lot of open houses last week. I'm going to go under invoices really quick. Under invoices, you'll be able to see if you have any active open invoices. You can download your statements. You can also make payments and pay multiple invoices at once if you would like to, which might be a great way to consolidate, fees. If you've got your ACH set up in here and you only want to pay that one $3 fee, I think you can hit batch payment and pay multiple invoices at once. I'm going to go now under listings. So right up here at the top again, I'm clicking listings. This is going to show you any active listings, any pending listings you have. And if you click on these, let's click on this one active listing here. It's actually going to give me some cool bells and whistles in here. I will tell you the system has the ability to upload your high resolution pictures into, but know that those are not going to then be pushed out to MLS. They would just live in here. So you're welcome to put high resolution pictures in here, not completely necessary at this time. What you might want to do in here is go down here to the bottom to this little box here. It says seller report and click on this. Do you remember when we had, I think it was list tracks that would tell you on your listings what websites people were clicking on the listing through, and it give you a graph of activity? Here it is. This feeds from list tracks and gives you a beautiful seller report on their online activity, which I think is awesome. You can download this up here in the upper right, or you can email the report. If I click email report, I'm going to put seller name in. It's going to CC me what I want the message to be. Let's say I want it scheduled. So I want it scheduled for, I want it to go out weekly. Every week I want to send the seller this report. I can set it up weekly. I can do it every other week, or I can do it monthly. So pretty handy little tool there. And you could even send it to yourself. You don't have to send it right to your seller. You could just send it to yourself and then maybe package it with your seller update. So nice little bell and whistle here with this program. I'm going to go into tasks. I don't think there are any tasks in here, so you're probably going to see a lot of white space. There is. If you had any tasks to complete, this is what we're going to be using for our onboarding. So if you're a brand new agent with us, and I know we've got some on today watching, you're going to have tasks in here to complete all of our onboarding tasks for you. So Joseph doesn't have any tasks. I guess, Joseph, you can take the rest of the day off. You don't have anything to do in here. Okay. Scott, can you think of anything that I didn't cover that I need to go back and cover? Oh, I know what I wanted to show. I'm going to interrupt myself. Buyer needs. I put a test one in here this morning. So when you all log in, you're going to see my test one. If you want to add a buyer need, you're going to click right down here, add buyer need, and you're going to type in whatever location. These are all free form, whatever budget, any comments you want to make. And then you can select office. I probably wouldn't do that right now. Just leave it open so everybody in the company can see it. Again, we've got the emails turned off on this, so they're going to live in here for right now. If we feel a need to turn the email notifications on these, so everybody in the company would get an email if you input a buyer need, we'll do it. But right now, we just didn't want to overwhelm you with details. But we do recommend go in and put in your buyer needs so everybody can see them, especially as we're launching this and everybody's going to be in plan. Put some buyer needs in there, and who knows, we might be able to help your peers sell some houses. Scott, anything you can think of that I didn't cover that I need to cover today, or any questions that you saw? Because I was not looking at chat.
Yes. Mission Farms office had a question on, can you make a payment for the whole year regarding agent billing?
Yes, we'll still be able to handle payments for the entire year.
The next question is the display different for teams regarding the agent production?
Yes. It will be different for teams. You'll see as a team lead, you will see the team production, and then I think you see a team member breakdown, I believe. We'll send out some separate information just to team leads so they can see what's different. And your billing might look a little bit different as well.
And then Linda Hammer was wondering about the able to see the last year versus this year in, I believe, agent production.
I think it's an agent production or broker 360. I can't remember. Well, here it is right here. So I just went into reports and agent production. So right here it shows me, and this is only showing me closed. So um, right down here, you're going to see what you did prior year and that comparison right there of how you're pacing this year compared to last year. So it does show that here. If I go let me go into broker 360. Da, da, da. Let me do, I'm just going to do current quarter. This is just a snapshot of the year. It's not going to show you a comparison. Agent reports is where you're going to see the comparison. Now, I will warn you when you're comparing last year to this year, or if I were to pull, let me go back to agent production and I'm going to pull prior year and I'm going to hit generate. Do you see down here where it says 0 on all these? That's because we only import data from 2025 into here on individual production. So it's going to take some time as we're in this system for that history to start building for you. Your production from last year is there. What might not be correct from last year is your GCI, your agent gross. Some stuff from last year might not be the most accurate because we uploaded and put everything in here at once, and we didn't go through individual transactions. We just uploaded it all from our old accounting system. So if it looks off from last year, it's because how we had to import all of the data in here. So it might not be exactly correct. One of my favorite things on these reports that I look at when I see reports for everybody, I'm going right down here to our columns. Look at this, effective commission rate. We actually get reports that can rank everybody on effective commission rate, and we can see where we're pacing as a company. That's one of those levers that as an agent you can pull and you can adjust to really have an impact on your income and your take home, your GCI. So there's some cool stuff in here that you're going to see. So, and I believe to go back to the team question, our team leads will see not only your transactions on here, but your um, total team transactions on here as well. So we'll get some more information to teams.
That looks like that's all the questions. We'll wait a couple of minutes, a couple seconds to see if any other questions come through. One thing I do want to reiterate is on dot loop, if you have to redo your process, go ahead and try to do that with make sure you fill out the people section so you get the all the title company and all that information, plus the view details. So we can get all that in the initial sync when we pull the information from dot loop. That'd be super helpful for everybody.
Yes, it
Um,
would be. I thank you for reiterating that again, Scott. I think you're going to hear it from us. We're going to sound like broken records um, over and over again. Gloria wants to get t-shirts made that say, and hats that say submit for review. I want them that say fill out view details. So that's the holy grail of truth for us is view details. Um, I'm going to show real quick, just while we're on here, I'm trying to log into the correct thing over on my screen so they can see what the transaction details page looks like and how intense that is if we've got to go in and fill this out. So I've got the right thing pulled up. So let me share something different here. So again, this is a screen that you all are not going to see yet. But this is a screen where, and this is one of our test transactions. Um, This is a screen where the admins are coming in to input your transaction details. Think of this as a live sale worksheet, okay? So as they come in and input details, you see all the stars here. All of this is required. If they're able to hit that sync from dot loop and everything populates, it is a good day. If they hit sync and only 50% of it populates, it means their admins are having to go back and forth between dot loop and GreenLink to make sure all the information, and they're doing it by hand. And we know they're amazing and they rarely make mistakes, but we know when we're doing manual input on on any data, there's an opportunity there for mistakes. Question was asked, I just saw it pop up in chat. I finally have the chat pulled up on the 5 days before the end of the month check. Yeah, and that's not even by the end of the month. The question is about if you're going to do a check instead of paying the invoice through the system, it's got to be 5 business days before the invoice due date. The invoice due date is when it's gonna if you set up enable the auto billing, and those on our 95 plan, those are those that are currently on auto billing, that will carry over into this system. So you won't have to do anything. We'll get that set up for you when the time is right. But if you want to avoid the charges, you've got to get us a check, and it's 5 business days that we've got to get it in, so we can apply payment, do all the manual stuff we have to do on the back end, and it just takes time to do that. If we don't get it in time, the risk is that you're charged twice, and we don't want that to happen, which is why we've instituted the 5 business day rule with checks. Is we do not want you to be billed twice. Okay.
Kristen asked, do we need to add our checking account since this is a new system?
You can. Yes. If you're already on Auto ACH and you've given us that information, we're bringing it over into the system and we'll get it set up for you. If you have not done that, if we don't have that information and you're not currently on auto pay, you'll need to input that into the system. And you can input it, or you can input credit card, whichever you prefer, and then set your default payment.
From Chad, does that need to be populated on the sales worksheet?
Da, da, da. Where's Chad's question? I'm trying to find it.
Let's see.
What if
Also,
you, what does what populate on the sale worksheet?
Chad, can you give us a little more, or if you want to unmute your mic and ask, you can do that too.
Yeah, please. If you're unmuting, we cannot hear you. Okay. Um, there was another question in here. There he's typing his question in. Do we need to fill out the background or just the sale worksheet? So the sale worksheet is actually populating from view details. So that's how it's set up in dot loop now, is it's coming over what's populating on the sale worksheet is coming over from view details. So our preference is that you fill out view details. If you fill out view details, we know all the information is correct in view details. If you go to the sale worksheet and you fill information out in there, sometimes that information doesn't sync back to view details, and not all the information that's in view details is necessarily on the sale worksheet. So we really want to get you in the habit of using, instead of going to sale worksheet to fill everything out, fill it out on view details. And we are in the process of going and calibrating our view details and making it a little bit more logical. It's kind of clunky right now, and it's not the easiest to fill out. So we're going to go back and streamline that for you a little bit. All the fields are there. The fields are not going to change, but we might make it a little bit more logical and streamlined. But we are the preference, the best process is to go to view details, and go to view details first. When you create your loop, I know it doesn't take you there. It takes you immediately to documents and folders. Up at the top, click view details, go in there. If you set everything up in view details at the beginning of your loop, the beginning, like when you create the loop, that when you pull up any contracts, that autofill now is going to be beautiful for you. It'll fill just about every field out on every document for you. So it's really quite impressive. So we'd really prefer that you fill out view details and not sale worksheet. That's view details is our holy grail of data. That is where we need the most accurate and update data. So
And
this is, I'm just kind of scrolling down this page so you can see it. This is what the transaction details page looks like. Again, right now you do not have access to this. We've got some meetings with our friends over at GreenLink and BE this week to really kind of discern if there are any unintended consequences with giving agents access to this. So as kind of just a view only, because I'd love to turn this actually into our sale worksheet at some point. You can print and get this beautiful print off right here of all of the information, and it's a very clean look.
and then Gloria commented for the title companies, add both title companies in the people section and choose the role of escrow.
Yes. Yes. So we'll do, and I know that it is needed to do some dot loop, maybe some retraining and reminders on dot loop, and that will be coming next. We'll be doing some sessions coming up very shortly on view details and putting people in the right sections and how to do that. So we want to get it kind of calibrated first, and then we'll do those sessions. That'll be coming up very quickly. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Let us know. You can email Scott, myself. Again, this recording, as soon as it processes, we will be sending this out, and along with the kind of billing details, that document that I showed you. It's 3 pages. It's got the fees on there, tells you what's changing, how it's changing. I'll send the slides out. We'll send the quick start guide out, so you'll have everything you need and you can log in. If you did not receive a email this morning, a welcome email with your link and password to log in, let us know and we'll get that regenerated for you.
And then on the emails, if you are inundated with emails, let me know. Don't send me all those emails. Just you can send me one and say, hey, I'm getting a lot of these. We'll take a look at it. And just
Yes.
if you have any questions or anything, give me a call, 913-661-1411, or email me at helpdesk@kansascityhomes.com and we'll get you straightened out.
I know I gave the accounting team props. I got to give Scott major props. This has been a labor of love, getting GreenLink, and he's kind of the mission control, deciphering a lot of things for us and a lot of the programming things. So, as I said at the beginning, this is a platform that it is a live platform. We don't have a sandbox to play in, which is why it took so long to get agents up and going in this. We wanted it to be correct. We were going to do this a couple months ago and realized there was something wrong with agent billing. It wasn't behaving appropriately. So we didn't want to turn you loose and send you into a platform that was broken. But at the same time, know that there are things that we could not test until we turned you onto the platform. So as Scott just said, if something doesn't look right, if you're getting lots of emails or you're confused, please, please, please let us know. Because likely if you are, everybody else is, and we want to make sure that that correct information is in there. You're getting the right information. You're not inundated and overwhelmed with stuff. So, all right. Thank you all for joining this morning. Appreciate it. And now you can go in there and check it out. Thank you again, Scott.
All right. Thanks, guys.